Episode 1 of Prislam Diaries begins now. The first prison I was in didn't contain actual cells, but cubicles. I could often be found hanging over someone else's or my own cubicle engaging in some type of dawah or debate. In comes Tony, a frail little blonde-haired white boy without a clue. He would often come over and interrupt my debate sessions, telling the people that I was spewing no more than lies. I was always kind and courteous to him, although he did not offer me much of the same. I finally asked him, "What problem do you have with Islam?" His reply was, "I have many problems with Islam." And I said, "Just name one." He said, "But there are so many." I said, "I'm not asking for many. I'm asking for only one. Tell me one complaint you have with Islam." He stated, "Well, one complaint I have is that you guys misquote revelations." Of course, my reply to him was instant. "Sir, not only we do not misquote revelations, but as Muslims, we do not quote revelations at all." He became dumbfounded and seemed to be at a loss for words. I said, "Listen, man, we have ta'aleem services every Sunday in the library. Why don't you come and learn something about Islam? So afterwards, when you attack it, you sound more intelligent as having known something about what you are attacking." He not only agreed, he showed up on time. I forget exactly what the subject was that ta'aleem, but something happened to Mr. Tony that day. I say this because afterwards, when I was engaging in one of my dawah/debates over the cubicles, he would then approach and say, "Listen to that man. He speaks the truth." Of course, I then invited him a second time. And after that ta'aleem had closed, I asked him to declare his shahada. And in his raspy, white boy country voice, he declared, "Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah." MashaAllah. I bet you those takbirs could be heard even in the free world. That day, he became Abdul Ghaffar. Now, we both worked in the chow hall. He worked the evening shift, and I worked the graveyard. Now, the inmates that we both worked around never really had too many questions about Islam for me. But as soon as this blonde-haired white country boy becomes Muslim, all of them seem to become so inquisitive about Islam. Now, some of it may have been actually sincere, but most of it seemed to be a bit menacing for Abdul Ghaffar. And it wasn't that he was the only white Muslim on our farm, because we had another white Muslim brother named Abdul Hakim. Inshallah, you'll learn more about him later. And it was really one in particular, big, black, strong, gorilla-looking country Ghaffar that was giving him the most problems. I come to know about this one night as he was getting off work and I was just coming in. Now, I didn't want to fight the dude. I told Abdul Ghaffar, you go to work tomorrow, tell him that I am just a new Muslim and I don't know much about Islam. If your questions about Islam are sincere, then ask Sadeeq. He can answer any questions that you may have. I told Abdul Ghaffar that if he bothers him again, when I come in to relieve them that night, him and I are going to touch every wall in that chow hall. And I put that on Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. As the time approached for me to go to work, I was amped. I mean, turned all the way up. I walked in, I saw that gorilla, but I didn't see my brother. When I asked about him, someone told me that his assignment had got switched and he was now working in the garment factory. Allahu Akbar. Allah is greater. So now, MashaAllah, everything's cool. I continued to see Abdul Ghaffar a couple of times a week in ta'aleem, also in Jum'ah. A few months later, they decided to convert that prison into an all-women's unit and move us down to a newer prison further south. At this new prison, there were a lot of black versus Mexican riots. That was cool. My headache was Abdul Ghaffar. They gave him a job washing dishes in the chow hall. He was like, I ain't washing no pork off them plates. I said, look, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forbade you to eat it. Don't make things hard on yourself. If you keep acting like this and they keep writing you up, they're going to ship you off to another unit, and eventually we're going to lose contact. I love you, just chill out, man. But Abdul Ghaffar stayed turned up. He refused to wash those dishes. So like I predicted, he ended up getting shipped off to another unit where the unspeakable happened. He wrote me a letter about a week later, telling me that his cellmate had defiled him. And I never heard from him again. Abdul Ghaffar.